How accurate was the Bikeriders movie? I spoke to a member of the Outlaws MC, a real member of the club, and he told me some behind the scenes skinny on why the Bikeriders movie was written about the Outlaws MC and why they weren't allowed to use the name. So they used the almost identical patch and called the club the Vandals. Also, did Austin Butler actually ride the motorcycle in Bikeriders, or was he on a trailer like Charlie Hunnam and Sons of Anarchy? What's the difference between Outlaws MC and Outlaw Motorcycle Clubs? We're going to talk 15 Diamond, 86 Meaning. We got a lot for you today. Let's get into it.
We run the night. We run the night. Run.
So let's talk about why the Outlaws MC did not support the Bikeriders movie. Here's a direct quote from a fully patched member of the Outlaws MC, and he's speaking on how they could have used the Outlaw colors for the movie and why they had to go with the Vandals MC as the motorcycle club name for the movie. Half of it was bullshit. Johnny Davis was a real member, but he didn't die till decades after, not like in the movie. And Benny, yeah, that was made up. Totally fake and fictitious character. So while it was written about our club, we never supported it. Hence why they weren't allowed to use our club name. So this is straight from the horse's mouth, and this is the problem when Hollywood tries to do work with real life stories. And I see both sides of this. Hollywood wants to make the best film possible. They want the max views, they want the max viewership, so they want to add some juice to it to make it more enjoyable for the audience. But on the other hand, and what they fail to realize is the Outlaws MC, their name is the one on the line because of the past bad publicity for convictions and RICOs. If it's not historically accurate, they want no parts. Do you think if they did it the way the Outlaws wanted it to, historically accurate, and they were allowed to use the actual club patches, would this movie have been a smash in the box office? I know its credibility would have went through the roof, and it would have got compared to the Hell's Angels movies of the past, the Hell's Angels on Wheels, all that type of stuff. It would have been crazy to see Tom Hardy wearing outlaw colors. Let's talk about Austin Butler. Did he ride his motorcycle in the Bikeriders movie? If you've ever seen the behind the scenes of Sons of Anarchy, I have seen footage of Charlie Hunnam, Jax Teller, riding, sitting on a bike, but is sitting on a trailer. Now, Austin Butler, who played Benny in Bikeriders, was he different? Let's hear it straight from the source.
Austin, there's something about you, I can't describe it, but you just look born to be on a motorbike.
Oh, that's a cool thing to say.
Before this film, did you have any experience on a motorbike, or was this a sort of really new experience for you?
I had been on a motorcycle from the time I was a kid, on the back of my dad's. He taught me to ride a bit when I was 15, but then it had been years that I would, I'd ride every couple of years kind of thing. And then for this, then I just trained a lot. I got to call it my job every day, and I'd ride motorcycles for 12 hours a day. It was a good job.
Did it come back to you instantly?
Yeah, but these bikes are different because they're old, I was on a 1965 Harley, and they're very particular, but it was so much fun. You act like you've never heard me say that before.
So what do you think about Austin Butler's role in Bikeriders? I think he did a good job for what he was given. Now let's talk about his character and how Hollywood based him. Who was Benny based on in the Bikeriders? The filmmakers claim Benny was inspired by a real member of the Chicago Outlaws Motorcycle Club featured in Danny Lyon's 1968 photo book. Only 2 photos exist of him, one at the pool table with his face hidden and one riding off in a Chicago Outlaws jacket. No interviews, no voice, just a shadow in biker history. In the film, Benny marries Kathy just 5 weeks after meeting her. She was 25 with 3 kids, he was 19. But the movie leaves the kids out completely. So here's where it gets real. Like the Outlaw MC brother said, Benny was never real. They say he's a made-up character, Hollywood fiction. So who do you believe? Studio with the story or the Outlaws who lived it? Now let's talk about Tom Hardy. Who is Johnny based on in the Bikeriders? Tom Hardy plays this cold, obsessive biker leader named Johnny, but he's not just some made-up character. He's actually based on a real Outlaw MC member. Danny's original book, The Bikeriders, showcased pictures with the Outlaw Motorcycle Club, who he ran with, the Chicago Outlaws, and Johnny was one of them. Now here's where it gets deeper. They say in real life, the actual Johnny was more reserved, quiet, but the movie-made version, Hardy took it darker. He made Johnny addicted to control, especially over Benny, like a mentor who's spiraling. And get this, Johnny's obsession with biker culture was sparked by Marlon Brando in The Wild One. That's why in the movie, he watches Brando and then starts the Vandals MC. That really happened. The real Johnny had a scrapbook with Brando photos, and he was inspired by that rebel image, allegedly. Let me know in the comments, do you think Johnny's based on a legend or just another biker with a Brando complex? Now let's talk about the Outlaws, since that's who the Bikeriders film is portraying, the real club, the Outlaws MC. Real quick, if you enjoy MC culture content, smash the like and the subscribe button. Give me a pound wherever you're from. Get your Ghostavelli mask, shades, Demons Row snapbacks in all colors, tank tops, crew necks, track races. We got it all, and you can get it on www.demonsrow.com. Let's get back into it. What does the 15 mean with the Outlaws MC? It's not just a random number. They don't throw symbols on a cut without meaning. The 15, like many other outlaw motorcycle clubs, stands for the 15th letter of the alphabet, the letter O. I'm really interested to know what club started this and started the trend where everybody started to follow. The Outlaws were out first. Doesn't mean they came up with this first, though. And in the Outlaws world, the O stands for outlaw. You'll see it on the vests, tattoos, and sometimes even patches. It's a way to rep without screaming it out loud. 1% clubs like to move in silence. Everything is coded. Everything means something. You might see AOA on a patch. That's the American Outlaws Association. But that 15, that's their way of saying outlaw without ever saying a word. Now let's talk about the difference between the Outlaws MC and outlaw motorcycle clubs. What is an outlaw? When it comes to MC culture, I think this is more complex than people think, and there's several types of outlaws in my opinion. Now you have the Outlaws MC, the actual Outlaws Motorcycle Club, the original from Chicago, and then you have outlaw motorcycle clubs, because the Mongols is an outlaw club, the Pagans are an outlaw club, the Vagos, Thunder Guards, Wheels of Soul. There are many outlaw motorcycle clubs. So let's start it off like this. All 1% clubs are outlaw clubs. Most 1% support clubs are outlaw clubs. If you got a state bottom rocker, you're an outlaw. You're claiming a territory. And I'm not talking about the old meaning, breaking away from the rules of the AMA, the American Motorcycle Association, the 13 outlaw clubs that didn't fit in. I mean outlaw in today's standards. Also, if you were ever a member of an outlaw motorcycle club, you are an outlaw. But I also believe that there are some rare breeds, and I'm not talking about the club, shout to them. I'm talking about independent, non-club members, outlaws that hang around 1% clubs, that are in these bars, that ride hard. There are outlaws like that too. What is your definition of an outlaw? What is an outlaw to you? I also wanted to answer another question, is 86. What does the number 86 mean in the biker world? If you've been around bars, clubs, or outlaw circles, you might have heard someone say, he got 86. But what does that really mean? In the biker world and MC culture, 86 means you're banned, kicked out, or cut off completely. You did something out of pocket, broke protocol, disrespected someone, and now you're gone. They don't want you around anymore. No warning, no goodbye, just go away. 86 is basically street code for you're no longer welcome. You could get 86 from a motorcycle club for violating bylaws. I've even seen women get 86 for being annoying or hanging out with other outlaw clubs when they're around, they're around your club all the time, and then they're hanging out with another outlaw club. You get 86 for that. And depending on the club, getting 86 might come with more than just words. Do you know anyone who has been 86, or have you been? So now that you've seen all the smoke around the Bikeriders, do you think Hollywood disrespected the Outlaws MC by not telling the story the way it really happened? Or do you think it's better to just make good TV? Would you have rather seen Tom Hardy rocking actual outlaw colors instead of the Vandal patch? And do you think Benny was a real biker legend or just a made-up rebel fantasy to sell tickets? And what about Austin Butler? Did you gain a little respect for him because he actually rode his bike? Let me know that in the comments. Do you think real MCs should ever allow their names to be used in films, or does that cross the line and open up the door to exploitation? And thank you for tuning in to Demons Row TV, the holy grail of MC culture. Like, subscribe, and comment. And oh yeah, we ghosting, baby.